I'm not a fan of too much tech, but yeah. There's a lot of weapons in the format, so sure, if you devote one card to it. Plus, at least Swampose occupies the board. Like,
Sure.
Mage does nothing for turns 1 to 5, so you can afford a couple of tech cards if they're minions. And that's not the time you want to draw Jaina, but you do want all of this stuff. This is just a control mage. Is it not even...
Yeah, it's a control mage.
It's like
straight
Frozen's deck from...
It's a bit of a mix. It's a bit of a mix. It's got control mixed in with value generation, so... The Jaina, again, could have saved him last game, but did not find it. This time around, doesn't want it, because Murloc's coming fast and strong, so there's really no need to rush. ScreaM here will hold on to the Grimscale Chum until he can get the buff. There's no reason to give the mage any value out of their hero power. If you can get some more value out of the Grimscale Chum, you do so. Then again, not a great matchup for the Paladin player. Usually, Dude Paladin gets a slight edge in a weird sense, in that they can play a bunch of 1/1s and maybe use up Light Fuse Stegodon for the plants. Even then, that's an awful matchup against mages. Murlocs just require that much more setup if they don't get going early.
And they really do need to get going, because Fuji has just an early curve that defends against nearly everything here. The Lich King, a bit late. Maybe Mogashan Warden. That'd be good against the dudes, but not so much against the Murlocs. So maybe you have to take the Lich King.
Whatever's cheap installs until you can AoE.
Yeah,
down.
okay, he's going with that.
I
I thought he was getting near enough with the hand he has that he could actually get to turn 8.
Honestly, all these picks were probably leading him into a position where he's able to completely wipe this off the face of the earth.
This is true. So this is one awkward turn coming up for him. You don't want to coin into the Fury, really.
I think he played Doomsayer behind Twilight Geomancer,
Yeah.
which is exactly what he was looking at on the previous turn, trying to force the opponent out of comfort zone. And it looks like ScreaM, with the Spellbreaker, will be able to answer it and keep himself on the board to some extent.
Yeah, and he can
But
even
just how
drop down
much?
another Murloc if he wants to take the chance to set up the War Leader. He's got to think whether he feels this means Fuji hasn't got Dragon's Fury or not. Like, it doesn't mean that, and it shouldn't mean that, but he's got to make sure he doesn't come to that conclusion, or he will go too wide and get blown up. He has Call to Arms. Maybe he feels, I can take the chance, go wide, and if I get blown up, I lose, but I just Call to Arms.
Yeah, the Vilephan Inquisitor also kind of interesting here, as it lets him start developing more Murlocs in the following turns. Grimscale Chum, if something's gonna die to AoE anyway, you can just throw more of these Grimscale Chums.
You've got Divine Favors in your deck, so you can also afford accidents sometimes.
Yeah.
Not too many accidents, but one happy little accident works out okay.
Yeah, it's a cute little tree. Fuji gonna take it slow. No need to take out the big guns yet. He could have Dragon's Fury. He could have played Blizzard, but I mean, let's be real. There's no real need here. Again, the cheapest card in the deck is 3 mana with the Ice Blocks. So the Dragon's Fury has a somewhat guaranteed threshold to start with.
Just that he is going to play the Vilephin now. If he waited a turn, he would get an extra dude out of it, because he'd be able to play it, then use the hero power twice.
I think he just wants to go in for
He
the
just wants
maximum
to go all in
damage.
for the max, which is fine. But the Tide Caller would do roughly the same thing.
Yeah, not being very conservative with resources in a matchup where, I mean, being conservative with your resources against Mage, probably not the safest idea, as you just give them time
Sure.
anyway. But I could see a good argument in favor of being more conservative. When you've got Call to Arms, I could see a very good reason to just go in and refill, and then hope Divine Favor bails you out at some point.
I don't think the Tide Caller was particularly slower than the Vilephin, though. It's just a case of extra resources for nothing.
So I'm guessing he's simply going to play the Murloc here and get the hero powers going. Because Call to Arms could have given him Divine Shielded minions.
Right,
which
so
would
that's
have
just
been
an
buffed.
ordering, and it would have been, and there is a massive, there's a punish anyway of just 3 points given away. That was just, he's been playing quite quickly, I've noticed this the last couple of games, and that is just why you shouldn't play too quick. I know I've nagged on about it all tournament, but that's an inexcusable error, small though it was.
A lot of these little very questionable lines of play here from the players. Looks like the Paladin's about out of gas. And the Cyclotron requires a very large amount of damage, needing to be put into it to really do anything.
Has he hit it? He's missed.
He's going to have to damage his own Murloc, but again, he's got a fairly healthy board of Murlocs on that other side. Blizzard plus Doomsayer, though, will demand exactly a second Spellbreaker to
Divine
answer this.
Favour's needed, I think, more than Spellbreaker here. You need to Spellbreaker does it, but Divine Favour into Spellbreaker is kind of what you need.
You gotta hit both, otherwise something's gonna go deeply wrong.
And
this is not sufficient.
Tiny point of order, though. I think Fuji should probably play the coin last turn, just to dump it. Because Divine Favour is like the only way he loses this game, so make it worse.
Sure, fair enough. He will not need the coin, barring maybe a Jaina coin ping play.
Same here. Why keep this coin when you're not losing to anything in the world apart from the world's best Divine Favour ever? But, you know, he's still going to get it done. It's only it's a point of order more than a disaster.
Without taunt here, Alexstrasza will make sure the game is completely closed off. ScreaM trying to maximize the value of Sunkeeper Terrarium will not get it done, and Alexstrasza is going to give Fuji a tying up with the series 1-1. It feels to me like this series is being played a little bit too quickly by both players, a bit of sloppiness on both ends.
Yeah, and we've sort of glossed over it when Fuji